So I'm Jared Atkinson. I'm from the Texas Liberty Campaign. Y'all can all go to meetup.com and join us. I know a number of us are out there. So we're all here because we're really tired of what's going on in Washington and in Austin, right? They tax and tax and tax and spend and spend and spend. And I'm getting tired of it. But how many people here voted for the same old people you voted for time and again? Same congressman. You didn't have a choice. Well, how many of you looked at who voted for the bailout and started thinking, okay, wait, why did my congressman vote for this bailout? When that happened to me, I started looking and I realized my congressman, my senator, and my party's presidential candidate all voted for this bailout. That was just the beginning of it. Just showed me that they were not fiscally conservative. So I started looking around. And I found that there were other candidates who were worthy of my vote. And so I voted for them. So then I figured out that maybe I should start looking at how the party is run. And I think it's that the Washington water is tainted. There is something in that water. They start out great, and then we send them up to Washington, and after 2 or 3 terms, they turn into these rhinos. But, you know, it's one thing to complain about massive spending. But those of us who are good fiscal conservatives understand that it's more about the proper role of government. We don't want the IRS, not because, you know, they tax us, but just because, well, you know, if you pay your income tax, you are a slave to the government. That was supposed to have been eliminated by the 13th Amendment. All right. Thank you. So we don't quibble over little dollar amounts. We want to eliminate the Department of Education because the federal government shouldn't have anything to do with educating our children. We want safe borders, but that doesn't necessarily mean we have to spread out our troops all over the world. We need to protect our own country. So, but we also understand that creating money out of thin air is not a good thing either. It causes inflation, and it actually hurts the economy in the long run. So when the Fed cranked up the printing press in 2001 to get us out of that last recession, all they did was hurt us in the long run, and it all went to mortgages and finance, and it caused this big bubble. So, you know, I'm an economist, so that's why I'm talking about that, but it caused this massive bubble. It was just this big paper trace. There was no wealth created between 2001 and 2009. It's just a big house of cards. So the first thing we need to do is call our congressman and tell them that we have to audit the Fed. I'd like to say we should just go ahead and end the Fed, but the first thing we have to do is audit the Fed. House Resolution 1207, tell your congressman, it's the audit the Fed, basically the audit the Fed bill. And we have 58 co-sponsors for that bill so far. A number of our local Congress people have co-sponsored it. I won't read their names, but they're, you know, they have. But so, anyway, I'm going to end with this. Vote. But you've got to vote. You've got to vote in every election. You've got to do it. You've got to tell everybody how you feel. And the way you do that, one of the ways you do that is by voting. However, you also have to be informed about your choices. Because there are a lot of candidates who are going to be running for governor who maybe you should look into. You know, you can't just look and watch the media and see, oh, you know, they're talking about this person or that person. You need to know who's on the ballot so you can make an informed decision. And it all starts right now. It starts right now because we've got to ramp up for the primary. And if the wrong person gets chosen in the primary process, well, guess what? We're stuck with another bad candidate, another rhino. We all have to start looking now to find the appropriate person who represents us. We also have to start looking at the city council races. There are great conservatives running in districts 1, 7, 13, and in Irving for place 8. Great conservatives. So we've got to, and when you find that person who you like, either donate money if you have it, or volunteer for them. Go knock on doors. How else is everybody going to find out about these great candidates that you know and you love if you don't go tell everybody about it? So you have a responsibility to your community to be informed about all the candidates. The only real Republican who ran in the Republican primary faced such severe opposition from the party and from the media that we had no chance. But that can't happen again. We have got to get the word out about our favorite candidates. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a Democrat or Libertarian or Republican, whatever. Find your candidate and go out there and work for that candidate. We've got to take back our country. Now's the opportunity for us to take back our country and to get great conservatives elected. But we've got to get mad. We've got to be able to stand up on a regular basis, and not just here, but for other events. You're going to be contacted by the organizers of this, and they're going to say, come out and let's do this. Well, you know what? Let's start right now. I want everybody to yell, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. Come on. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. Yeah. Let's stay mad. They can't keep doing this to our country.
Somebody just made the news.